Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 9 of Beyond the Purple Door. I am the Wellness Witch, Nicole Castillo, in studio today with the amazing Dr. Taylor Suval and his wife, Tabitha Suval. If you guys have not gone and subscribed to YouTube, if you guys have not gone over to A Tribe of Giants, please go join us there. If you guys are on Facebook watching, I'm going to put Wake Up a Giants TV in the comments. We will not be able to see your comments unless you are part of Wake Up a Giants TV. So please go there and like it so we can see your comments. I am so excited for our guest today. Dr. Taylor is a family man. First, I met him at football. He is a phenomenal father, and he is a chiropractor second. He was born in San Antonio, Texas, and he has spent the last few years traveling the country to serve and learn from the best chiropractors in the world. He has recently relocated back to Salt Lake area. Yay, I'm so excited about that. And found Radical Chiropractic Company with his beautiful wife, Tabitha, and their amazing 3 children who I absolutely adore. Dr. Taylor found his passion for chiropractic when he was serving a local chiropractic practice as a licensed massage therapist. That's amazing. He then went on to attend a prestigious Parker University of Chiropractic in Dallas, Texas, where he received his doctorate degree and earned an advanced proficiency certification as a torque release practitioner. You're going to have to tell us what that even is. I'm so intrigued by that. He is a member of the International Chiropractic Pediatric Association and also received his Webster's certification as an advanced certification that instructs doctors how to specifically care for prenatal and postpartum mothers. Tabitha is the executive director at Radical Chiropractic Company. She grew up in a small town in the Oklahoma panhandle. Tabitha was heavily involved in dance growing up and was a competitive dancer and high school dance captain throughout her high school years. Because of dance and being born with hypermobility, Tabitha has suffered from from chronic hip, low back, knee, and foot pain for years. It wasn't until she met Dr. Taylor that she learned about the benefits of chiropractic care and how life-altering it can be for people suffering with pain and dysfunction. In her former career, Tabitha served as the director of events and stewardship at a large university in Texas, and she has more than a decade of experience planning organizational complex and intricate events ranging from presidential inauguration, wow, that's amazing, to fundraising galas and golf tournaments. Tabitha has also spent countless hours serving other chiropractors as they build and open their own practices and is thrilled to finally be able to open and serve as this community. In her spare time, they enjoy hiking, being outdoors, lounging around with their 3 dogs, who I absolutely adore, and spending most weekends supporting their kids in extracurricular activities. And you guys, I love seeing your Facebook and all of the different places you guys go when it comes to hiking and exploring through Utah. Watching you guys interact as a family, it's pretty phenomenal. So if you guys don't follow Dr. Taylor and Tabitha on Facebook, go follow them. So welcome you guys to the show. And we usually start out with what we're celebrating today. And I'm celebrating having you guys here with me in studio doing this show. When I created this show, you guys were in the vision of people that I really wanted to talk to because of how passionate you guys are about health and wellness and impacting the community. A Tribe of Giants is impacting 100 million lives. And it's people like you that are taking that message and that mission and really serving your community with it. So welcome, both of you. What are you guys celebrating today?
Thank you. We are celebrating the opening of our practice. We're about 3 weeks away from finally opening, and it is very exciting. We're very happy to be doing it.
Yeah. So what about you, Tabitha? What are you celebrating today?
I mean, honestly, opening the practice is our whole life right now. And we have been a little pushed back because we're waiting on HVAC parts to come in, do the supply chain. We've had issues with that. And we just found out they came in So we're getting ready to get an HVAC, and we're just going to be open before we know it, finally.
Yeah, that's amazing. So tell me a little bit, like, what inspired you to do this work, Dr. Taylor?
Well, just like you alluded to in the intro, I started working at a chiropractic office in town, and I didn't really know anything about chiropractic. I was working as a massage therapist and wanted to show up and sort of do my work and leave. And the doctor pulled me aside one day after about 6 weeks of sort of ignoring his come learn about chiropractic invitations. And he was very nice about it. And it was a longer conversation. But the sum it up was, listen, you're going to be a part of our practice or you're not. And if you're not, then we have to have a different conversation. So it's sort of a pull me on the carpet situation. And I was like, so I, bit the bullet, learned about chiropractic. I didn't really want to. And then, thank God for that, because I fell in love with it and it changed the whole trajectory of my life.
What was it about it that made you fall in love with it?
Well, so I was a massage therapist, so I was seeing people and watching people get better, but really watching the miracles that happen with chiropractic. Once you understand it, it's really not a miracle anymore. It's just how the body works, but it feels like a miracle. Someone who's been suffering from things and tried everything. There's a joke in chiropractic that every office should be called Last Chance Chiropractic, because people often will wait until the very end to try chiropractic when in hindsight they should have probably tried it first, and much cheaper, less invasive, balancing to your body and allowing your body to function and heal from a lot of these issues that people have that they suffer from. And so that's what really inspired me.
I just remember coming to football in total pain. And I had been I'm that person that waits till it's so bad that I'm in so much pain that I don't even know what to do with myself. And one of the things that I really love that Tabitha understood with me is that it freaks me out, the popping and the cracking. And when you sat down to work on my back, I think it was my shoulder, and it was no popping, no cracking. It was pushing points and having me breathe. And the relief that I got just from 5 minutes. And also I feel like it all could have been avoided had I been going to a chiropractor this whole time. I know I have alignment issues. So I have neurological Lyme disease, and I have one of my hips, one of my legs are the same length, but one of my hips is higher than the other one. And then also the nerve damage that I have from Lyme disease, it ate the myelin sheaths on my nerve endings. So I struggle already with my skeletal system, but now I have the neurological side thrown in as well. So I don't know. Are you guys the chiropractors you go to that pop and crack your body?
So yes, we do that. We can do that, I should say. But the torque release technique is what you were alluding to earlier in the bio. And that's a method that uses an instrument for adjusting. And that allows us to sort of bypass entirely the popping and the twisting and the cracking for those that maybe are a little nervous or prefer a more gentle adjustment. And so that would be the technique that we would use. And that's why I became trained in that and specialized in that. Was I didn't realize. So when I first started, and Tabitha was like, "Oh, I'm a little nervous about getting cracked." I was like, "Oh, well, you're a weirdo." She's like, "No, a lot of people feel like that." And I was like, "No, they don't." Well, yes, there are more people than I thought. And so in an effort to be able to serve everybody, I wanted to make sure and have a technique that would allow people to feel comfortable getting adjusted.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We see patients on both ends of the spectrum that love getting manually adjusted, and some wouldn't come to us if it wasn't for the torque release technique that we offer.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I had never heard of it before, and I didn't know that's what you were using when you literally he was just pushing points on my back and just telling me to breathe in, hold my breath, release my breath. And the relief that I got from that 5 minutes was huge. I can only imagine going long term.
Well, that was actually just the massage techniques that I used on you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so you
my
didn't
God.
get adjusted. That was just my experience with massage coming through.
That is so cool. That is so badass. I didn't realize that because I've never been to a massage therapist before that has performed that technique on me. That's amazing.
I hit the jackpot, right?
I think he hit the jackpot too, girl.
That's right.
Because I think that you really expand. Like, it's like me with my husband. He sees things so different, and so he expands my how I see the universe. It's really beautiful. He sees things I don't, and I feel like maybe you saw some things with Taylor that have supported him with expanding to be able to serve more people, which is so beautiful.
That's right. 100%. That's correct.
Yeah. So how often do you see patients? Like, do you have regular patients? Is it people that are just coming in? What about the age ranges? Like, who would benefit from seeing a chiropractor?
So I'm going to answer that question, but I got to back up and add something just before that.
Yeah.
So when people think of chiropractic, they often think of spine and joint health, neck pain, back pain, and which is true because chiropractors do a great job with that. But a neurologically based chiropractor really affects the nervous system. That's what I'm focused on. And I use your spine and joint health in order to, as a lever to affect your nervous system. So I'm less concerned about your symptoms, right? So your pain is just a symptom. It's a red light that's going off. And while that's important to you because you're in pain, I'm less concerned about covering up your symptom. I'm more concerned about solving the reason why you're having the symptom. And so that's what a neurologically based chiropractor does. And so the reason I mention that is because we are a family wellness based practice. And what that means is we see everybody from the dad who works construction and has neck pain, back pain because he fell off a ladder, to children as young as 5 weeks old. We have a patient. And it's much easier to raise a healthy child into a healthy adult than to fix a broken adult, and cheaper for everyone that's interested in that. And so, a child is so easy to adjust, and we don't twist or crack or pop a child, especially not an infant. We have the instrument adjusting, or if you use your hands, it's more like the pressure that you would use to check a tomato in the store. It's more of just pressing and holding because they're so young and easy to adjust, as opposed to an adult where you have to put a little more force to get a manual adjustment. So we see everyone from children, like infants, to grandma, everybody in between. And we're really focused on pediatric and perinatal care with women because, like I said, it's so much easier to raise and keep a healthy child into a healthy adult than to wait and try and come back and fix 20 years of problems.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think, if a child is born with a misalignment in their neck and it's never addressed, how many problems could that solve 20 years down the road when we should be fixing it? They should be checked for spinal misalignments sometimes with even hours after being born.
That's really good information. I would never think of this. And I didn't until I talked to Taylor about it one day when we were walking around the football practice field, and he was just talking about people that he'll see that have been in pain for 40 years, and it could have been prevented had they been seeing a chiropractor early on. Tell me a little bit about the neurological side of what it is that you do.
Sure. So the nervous system controls the entire body. Every system, organ, muscle, or cell is controlled by the nervous system. And so just like it's really easy to understand your sensory nerves, right? There's two types of nerves. You have your sensory and then you have your autonomic, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you fall asleep on your arm or you sit down too long and your leg falls asleep, you stand up and everyone understands, oh, my foot's asleep. You stand on the other foot, you wiggle it a little bit, you suffer the pins and needles, and then eventually the sensation comes back and you can walk normally again. That's really easy for everyone to understand. Well, all those nerves, those sensory nerves, are only about 10 to 15% of all the nerves in your body. So there's 78 trillion nerves in your body, and only 10 to 15% of them are sensory. So all the other nerves do everything else. So the nerves to your uterus, for example, well, those can get pinched just like you could sit on your butt and make your leg fall asleep. The nerves to your uterus function the same way. But if it gets impinged or pinched off a little bit, what does that feel like? Well, it doesn't feel like anything because there's no sensory nerves there. You just have dysfunction, right? And so people that have all sorts of dysfunction in their entire body, any systemic dysfunction, psoriasis, colic, ear infections, failure to thrive in children, heart irregularities, right? High blood pressure, low blood pressure, allergies, gut issues, reproductive issues, bladder, urinary issues, all those are controlled by the nervous system. And if your nerves are impinged at any point along that pathway, then you're going to have dysfunction because things can't function properly. So I check your nervous system when you come in, and I check your spine, and I find the areas of subluxation, the areas that are, maybe there's some inflammation or they're not moving, which causes inflammation and spinal degeneration. And then we adjust those. I adjust your spine, make sure everything is lined up and that you can function as optimally as you can. And by way of doing that, we allow the nervous system to flourish and function properly. And it's not a direct connection, right? You can't come in and say, oh, I have allergies. I'm say, great, I can adjust your middle of your thoracics and fix your allergies, right? It doesn't work that way. But what does happen is we adjust your spine, make sure everything, remove any of the interference and difficulties and things that you have going on. And then you tend to see people flourish, right? All of a sudden, they don't have gastric reflux anymore. Colic gets dealt with, right? It gets resolved. Ear infections stop coming back. You don't have to have 3, 4, 5 rounds of antibiotics and 2, 3 rounds of surgery and ear tubes, right? Women get pregnant, right? Their whole practice is dedicated to getting women pregnant, helping women get pregnant. Because if your uterus and your womb are not set up to support conception, then you're gonna have a really hard time. You can do IVF and you can take all the prenatals you want, but if it's your foundation and your pelvis and your sacrum and stuff aren't supported properly, or the nerves aren't innervated properly, then you're going to have issues, right? Men have erectile dysfunction, low back pain. The nerves that innervate your reproductive system come right out of there in your low back. So men that have issues in their low back also tend to see reproductive issues. It's all tied together.
Yeah, I'll add on to that by saying that we have a 59-year-old under care right now. He's been adjusted 12 times in our office, and he is already reporting improved memory, improved balance, less stress, improved digestion. Like, he's been able to reduce taking pain meds for the pain in his leg when he goes bowling every Friday. All these things can happen by getting regularly adjusted and making sure your nervous system is functioning properly.
Yeah. So what is regular adjustments? What does that look like? And the level of care, because there is a place where my husband used to go. I won't say what it is, but it's one of those where you pay a monthly membership and then you go in and get adjusted anytime. But it does not sound like it was as in-depth as what you guys do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand. So anybody can learn to crack your back, right? I mean, you've seen people do that, right? Have their kids walk on their back, your friends do it, and they see something. And that, just the cracking that you're hearing is not an adjustment, okay?
It's not?
No. So the cracking is just the nitrogen gas being expelled from a joint. That's all that's happening with that. And it feels good. You get a release, you get an endorphin rush, so your body rewards you for that, so it feels good. And you go, oh, great, that feels great. I like that. That must be what this is about. But an adjustment is finding an area that's not moving and moving it, right? And that can come with or without a sound. Now, they often come together. So that's why they're associated, because they often happen together. They don't have to. You can have a crack without an adjustment. You can have an adjustment without a crack. And so what we do is an exam to see what you have going on, right? Your spine should look a certain way. It should have certain curves. It should move a certain way. And anywhere that it's not during my exam, I look at all that stuff and come up with a treatment plan specifically for you. So I'm not just walking through and making crack whatever I can as I move down your body, right? I'm adjusting specific things that I found that need to be moved that you have issues with. And that can look different for some people, right? A newborn, for example, might need one adjustment a month, maybe, just as sort of a wellness check to see, because they don't suffer the same complications that an adult has. Where if you're a 59-year-old man who's lived a real hard, tough life and car accidents and all sorts of issues, then you might need a little bit more extensive care to get you sort of where you need to be. So that's what the initial process looks like. And then after that, you're just into sort of a wellness situation where you come because you want to make sure that everything is functioning properly. And that's why you do that. You can have anyone adjust you, crack you, but it's not the same thing as a specific adjustment designed to move specifically the areas that need to be moved, as well as it's like your body is also a little bit like a Jenga puzzle. There's something that your body will adjust to everything that's out. And if just because, so there might be 3 different things that are out, but if you adjust the first one and then the second one and the third one going down in a line, but your body, number 1, number 2 moved because something was wrong with your pelvis, then adjusting those 2 first aren't going to do anything because the root cause, the major subluxation, was your pelvis. So you need to find the major subluxation, adjust it first, and then allow the body to readjust back to where it's supposed to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Well, and it also makes sense because I remember Tabitha telling me, she's like, I would love to see your spine on an x-ray. When I was like telling her the stuff that I had going on, she was like, so that makes sense because you're not just, you're going in and getting the views that you need of the spine so you can do your job correctly and get everything in alignment. And you don't go in just one time to have that magically taken care of. There's a process to it.
Right.
Yeah, your spine did not get the way it is from one thing, right? And so it doesn't get fixed with one adjustment either, especially if you have a very complex case, a lot of degeneration. It takes quite a while under care to try to get you back to functioning properly.
And so the big disconnect that people have is often your pain will be taken care of in a short amount of time. There's a couple of reasons for that, right? The initial, the endorphin release that you get when you get adjusted, that helps. Fixing, if your hips are out, you put your hips back in a little bit, and now I have some relief. And so you feel a little bit better. But the lack of symptoms does not mean that you're healthy. It does not mean that you're well. And that's a trade-off that everyone has to decide what they want to do, right, for their own self. But if you go in a couple of times and now I feel better and I'm not going to go back anymore, following somebody's care plan, for example, that's going to put you in a situation where you keep having the pain over and over again. And so throwing a patch on it is never going to fix it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that it's tailored to each individual patient that comes in to see you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I totally did not do that on purpose. That just is what came out.
You planned it. We know.
My gosh. I totally did. I know that with my situation with the myelin sheaths on my nerve endings, when I was having heart problems, I was having heart palpitations, and I went to go see a cardiologist, and she told me it was actually nerves. She's like, it's not your heart. Your heart's fine. It's your nervous system, but nerves take so long to heal that it's a very long process. Does chiropractic help with things like that? That might be a stupid question to ask you.
So we don't directly treat it, right? I wouldn't be like, oh, you have the myelin sheath on your nerve endings is damaged. We're going to adjust you and that's going to fix that. What we do is, and it's sort of a simple answer, I guess, complex and simple at the same time, because we would treat you like we'd treat anybody. We would check out your situation and adjust your body to make sure that you are optimally functioning for what your body can do. And then that's when miracles happen. We say that because all of a sudden things that you were told wouldn't happen are happening. People that found no way to fix what you have going on with you, all of a sudden you find success and remission of your issues. And it's not a guarantee, but
that's why it's a miracle, right?
Yeah,
because miracles.
That's right. Well, it's because our healthcare system is not really a healthcare system; it's a sick care system. We deal with you after you're sick. When do you go to the hospital? You don't go to the hospital when you feel well. You go to the hospital when you're sick or when there's some sort of a trauma or an emergency, and you're being reactive to what's going on. Which is important. If I get hit by a bus, take me to the hospital, right? But it's not designed to treat us can keep us well long term. We also don't make any money that way. The hospital, if you're well, they don't make any money.
No, it's true. Because when I've gone in, most of the time they'll fix the problem, but they never look for the reason why. Like I had pancreatitis and they were trying to figure out what was going on with me. With my Lyme disease, it took nine months to diagnose me. Like they were wanting to focus on
the symptoms.
Yeah, like my leg, I couldn't move my leg. And so they want to focus on just
treating the leg.
Yeah, they were not looking at everything going on. I had a doctor from Thailand and I had to tell her, look at me, Eastern medicine holistically, so that I can get some answers. It's not my leg. I have these other things going on too. But it was 9 months. If they would have taken a simple blood test, like she took 26 vials of blood and found it like that day. But it's like they wanted to push me through this process that I didn't need any of the stuff that they were doing. Like it was so simple. And I totally agree. They were not trying to find out like how or why or what. Most of the time, like with pancreatitis, I think I was on a clear liquid diet for 10 to 14 days, clear liquid only. And that is how I got healthy. And they gave me some antibiotics, but it wasn't like, I just was blown away. Like it's really up to us to advocate for our own health and wellness. And I feel like this is a very proactive way to do that. If your health is important to you, to be proactive, not reactive.
Well, being proactive, one of the reasons that people are not proactive with their healthcare is because they think that it's going to cost them money. Right? Oh, I'm well right now. I'm going to spend money. I'm already healthy. Why would I do that? Well, it's because it saves you on the back end. When you have to go have back surgery or pain medication or opioids, or because you've waited and now you're reactively dealing with the pain and you go to the hospital, you're going to do whatever they tell you. And they charge you a ton of money, right? I took my son to the hospital after he was born for a fever. They cost me $400 for liquid ibuprofen. Okay, I buy a bottle of that for $2 at the store, and it's just ridiculous. They charge you $14 for every nasal evacuation device, which is a Kleenex. That's not the real cost of things. And so when you go to the hospital and they say, oh, you need this, you need to be admitted, you need to have these pills or this surgery or this therapy, it's expensive. It's very expensive.
Yeah. And I know from a family member I love very much had a hip surgery and was told that this hip surgery would help cure whatever he was feeling, and it didn't. I have another family member with back surgery that was hoping that he would get feeling back in his leg and didn't. So that's where I've kind of gone into the natural way of doing things. For my back pain, it was like Pilates. After I had my daughter, I was super poor, and it was like I had Pilates videos, $20, and I did Pilates for weeks until my back pain went away. Finding natural ways. And this feels like it's very natural. It's just it's movement, and releasing energy that you have been storing in your body, or right? Like with massage therapy and chiropractic, you're like releasing trauma and energy that you've been holding into your body, but you're also like getting your body into its natural alignment with movement and having that support from another human, which I think is really beautiful too, because the power of human touch and how that in itself is so healing.
Yeah, well, you're right. And the truth is, motion is lotion. You have to move. If you stop moving, then your body degrades, right? If you stabilize a joint for long enough, it's going to fuse together because it thinks it's not supposed to move. And so it is super important to make sure that your body is moving. All the joints are moving, including your spine. We don't check our spine very often.
Yeah, well, and with our bodies as human beings, we are designed to be running in like the jungle. We are not designed to be sitting at a desk for 8 hours. That's why our jaws move the way that they do and our necks move the way that they do, so that we can be running and doing things that are very active. I think some people forget that
Right. Well, and to hit back on what you were mentioning earlier about doctors, no doctor heals anybody, right? I don't heal anybody. A medical doctor doesn't heal anybody. All we're doing is trying to put our patient in the best position possible so that they can heal themselves, right?
I love that so much. So much
And,
empowerment in being able to heal yourself.
right. That's what a cast is, right? It's to stabilize your bone so that your body can heal, to support that. And all the medications and pills and surgeries, those are designed usually to
Alleviate symptoms.
alleviate symptoms, right? They're trying to cover up the symptoms long enough that your body will fix itself. And where we differ is chiropractic philosophy and outlook is, we want you to feel better in the meantime, but let's try and get to the root cause of what's going on so that you can heal effectively,
Yeah, Tabitha, did you have a thought?
I mean, the way he said it gave me goosebumps. Honestly, I've never heard him say it that way. So that was like big light bulb moment for me. And it just reinvigorates me every day that we get to talk to people about this, because this is our goal, this is our mission, is to educate people about what chiropractic is and help them learn how they can help themselves, and to create this community of people that believe that healthy and being healthy is not what they teach you in the hospitals.
Yes, I love this so much. And that's where I come in with healing with food and nutrition and movement. And
food is medicine.
Yes.
Food is medicine.
Food is medicine. Well, I just posted today about my Frenchie, my dog. I know you guys are a dog family too. And my dog has really bad allergies. He was having inflammation. His eye was not healing from cataract surgery. They were giving me all of these eye drops and they were super expensive. Then they want me to go see a dermatologist, which is also super expensive. And I was like, fuck this. Like, fuck this. I'm going to do what I know to do for myself. And that is healing with nutrition. And that is what I did. He's been on a natural food diet now for 3 years, no allergies. His inflammation has gone down naturally. He has no eye drops anymore. So it's just, and I say that like I use the dog as an example, but I've also done it for myself with my own life, with regrowing my nerves and being able to have a disease that's as debilitating as Lyme disease and be able to go to the gym and be able to go walk with you guys at football.
Really fast.
Yeah. It's like, I'm doing things like Taylor said, like Dr. Taylor, sorry. The doctor says, it's like I'm doing things I never imagined that I would ever be able to do again. I went to physical therapy, I think one time because I was so over the bullshit of physical therapy. Like I wanted to walk at my wedding and, telling me what is possible and what isn't possible. No, I'm going to figure this out with nutrition, with movement. And I wish I would have known you guys back then, because the chiropractor I went to, it felt like I was getting taken advantage of and I didn't fully trust. There was just something off about the way that he was doing things. And so once I met you guys in that trust, because Dr. Taylor is quite the conversationalist. He's just very like, you're so passionate about what it is that you do and the people that you're helping. And it's genuine. It comes from a genuine space of like impact and concern and passion. And that's why Tabitha is the exact same way. When I talk to her about this stuff, it's like, it makes a huge difference.
I was putting together a presentation we're doing for a networking group in a couple of weeks. And I was like sobbing, building the PowerPoint, because I'm just like, it's so cool to be able to teach people these things that they wouldn't otherwise know without Dr. Taylor. It's just so cool and so empowering to be able to help other people that are suffering.
Yeah. And, to mention that someone just popped up about someone that hurt their neck. Yeah. It's really unfortunate for people that have a bad experience or met with had a bad experience with the doctor for whatever reason. There's just like anything, there's good doctors, good chiropractors, bad chiropractors, good medical doctors, bad medical doctors. And it's really unfortunate if you've had a bad experience. It's really can be disheartening because you're like, oh, I tried it and then he hurt me or something happened. And unfortunately, that happens with life, and all you can do is learn from it, try and do better. We have a passion. I don't do anything to anyone that comes in our office that I don't do to my own family. My kids get adjusted, my wife gets adjusted, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law. I treat everybody the same. And that most chiropractors have a story. When you're in school, when you get to talk to your fellow classmates, most people have a story. The story is something like, oh, I was injured at sports and no one could help me. I went to the chiropractor and I could play football again. Or my mom had debilitating pain and she couldn't get out of bed and she went to the chiropractor and then she could walk again. You hear these stories all the time. Almost everyone has a story. And most chiropractors come from a place of love, wanting to help and heal. I think most doctors start that way. But, we all know intrinsically that the more medicine you're taking, the less healthy you are, right? There's the cabinet in your bathroom, right? The medicine cabinet. And are you healthy or sick if you have 10 prescriptions in there? Well, you're less healthy, right? And so if medicine made us healthy, we'd be the healthiest nation in the world. We spend far more and consume 80% of all the world's medication. We're only 5% of the world's population.
That's right.
And
the average American is on 4 prescriptions.
Wow.
And it's just really unfortunate that's the place that our health care system has gotten. It's unfortunate because it's not productive. It's not.
Yeah. Well, it is for profits.
Well,
yes, it is for profits.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before I met my husband, I was on 4 prescriptions. 4. And I was 25 around when we met. And now I'm on 0.
Yay. I love that. That's something to celebrate.
Yeah.
That's
it's
amazing.
Huge.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that fuels me, because I feel like I could be in a better place now if I hadn't been taking these medications for the last 15 years. No one told me that Prevacid causes horrible osteoporosis, especially in women. No one told me that. I thought I was totally safe to be on Prevacid for 15 years, to be on birth control for 15 years. And none of that was true.
Yeah. The more medications that you take or ingest or inject into you, the less healthy you tend to be. And it's just really unfortunate because not only do they not often solve the problem, but they
cause more.
There's a great many side effects, right? And they interact with each other. So if one medication has 10 and a second medication has 10, that's not 20, that's 100. You have to check all the interactions that you could possibly have that interact with each other. And then now you multiply that out, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just really crazy.
Yeah. Funny story. So Dr. Taylor was saying that we all get adjusted in our home. We have family adjusting night. It's every Sunday. And we fight over who gets to go first. Seriously. Damien was furious at me a couple weeks ago because I got on the table first and he thought he called it first. And I was like, no, I win. That did not go over well. And also our dogs get adjusted as well.
What? No way. I did not know that. I would have maybe called you. My dog's name is Douche Dog because I'm a horrible parent, but he had surgery recently and he has some stuff on his back. I might have to bring him in to see Dr. Taylor.
The truth is that animals have a spine just like we have a spine, and they have similar issues that we have, right? If your spine's not working, or not your spine, excuse me, your nervous system isn't working, then you're gonna have issues. And so it's interesting. Once you start seeing, you're like, wait a minute,
Oh, I see it now just from saying that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I do see that with
Isn't that ridiculous?
It makes sense. I think I'm ridiculous for not thinking of it. But
we're the same. My husband's a chiropractor And we just started taking our dogs to an animal chiropractor like 2 months ago.
What?
Our dog, one of our dogs jumped on our other dogs. He had been complaining and whining about hip pain. We were like, we should take him to a chiropractor. You know, and the more we talked to her, we were like, why are our dogs not getting regularly adjusted? We're idiots. So now
I love you guys. You guys are my kind of idiots. I love that. I love that's a thing and that it exists. And like, I lost, let's see. You have an appointment? Yes. It's your dog's name. Oh. Yeah, his name is Douche Dog. Yeah, I totally am into doggy nutrition. Now I'll be into doggy chiropractic work. I might have to have a doggy chiropractor come on here and talk about because my dogs have been huge when it comes to healing my life and with anxiety and panic attacks and just feeling the self-care and the love from them. They've been a huge part of my healing journey. So I definitely think it's a thing. That's one of the things too that I think bonded me and Taylor was him bringing your dog to the park. I don't know if we'd ever talked before then. And then you brought the dog and I was like,
So side note, Elliot will be in the practice with us full time because we believe in that. We believe in the healing power of dogs, and he's just got this spirit about him and everybody loves him and he's so comforting. And we just thought it would be perfect for him to be in there with us.
That's right. So we will have animals in our practice, even if they're not being adjusted.
I love this. That's amazing.
We're really trying to be different than what many people think a chiropractic office is like, or even, you know, we don't really want to be seen as a medical clinic. We want to build a community of people, a place where people can come hang out and get to know us and build this sense of family of people that are trying to be healthy and go on this journey together.
That's right. And not just with chiropractic care, but with all aspects of your health, nutrition, PTs for pelvic floor or issues that you might have like that way with women, right, that have issues after birth. Just all aspects of health. We want that to be a part of our practice, and that's why we plan on doing more than just chiropractic in our office. We plan on having people come and talk and teach and allow people to have, because there's so many things that you don't know about until someone tells you, especially in today's age with health and wellness, with how much information there is on the internet. There's a lot of aspects of your health that people just don't have any idea about because there's almost too much information sometimes, and it's hard to pick out what is good for me or what's useful or what should I listen to.
Yeah, well, and if you watch TV, which I don't watch much of, but my husband does, it's like every other commercial is something for a pharmaceutical. They have like mass amounts of marketing. So when it comes to health and wellness, it is very much grassroots and word of mouth, and people like us who are spreading that message of, love, healing, self-care, empowering people to heal themselves and heal their lives. I love that you are bringing the dog aspect in as like the therapy, the support animal, and then that your clinic is really, it's like a wellness clinic, not a medical clinic.
That's right. We want people to come see us for their problems and their symptoms and to help them heal. But then we really, we're big proponents of you should be getting adjusted regularly every other week, because if you have a fall and you have a misalignment in your spine, degeneration starts after 14 days of it not being corrected. So if you just come every 2 weeks, you're going to always be getting corrected before that degeneration can start at that place.
Right. And that's what we'd like to everyone to, ideally the ideal situation. Unfortunately, people don't start, like we said, until 30 years of trauma, and then they come in because they just can't stand the pain anymore. So you have to make up for all that lost time, And that's how you get to where you have a care plan where maybe you come twice a week for a month or whatever is your situation is individualized. That's what we do in our office, rather than this place where you just walk in and just rack you and crack you and kick you out the door and best of luck. Let us know when you want to come back.
Yeah. Well, and my husband didn't see a lot of benefit from it. He didn't see anything really long term. I want to say he was going pretty often, like at least once a week, but the long term, I don't know. I don't feel like he got the care that he really needed to support him in his healing.
Well, it's hard to hit a fuzzy target, right? And a lot of those places, those membership-based places, don't take x-ray, don't do an exam. And so they don't really know what they're working toward, which isn't their fault, right? But whenever we can see the x-rays and see where the issues are, we have a goal, we know what we're trying to hit with you, and it just makes it more successful.
I love
well,
that.
Yeah, a ship captain isn't getting anywhere if they don't have a destination, right? If you just jump on the ship and are like, okay, ship, take me. Well, who knows? You got to have a goal.
I mean, we'll do it.
Yeah, so Nicholas T. Smith is the one who wrote The Giants and the Smalls. I gave that book to Dr. Taylor and Tabitha and their adorable children last football season when I met these beautiful people. And so this is the person who wrote the book. That's the reason why I have this show here today. And thank you, Nicholas T. Smith, for your vision and what you have created in the world with impacting 100 million lives. Tabitha and Dr. Taylor are also committed to impacting global health and wellness. So I'm super grateful for this opportunity to have you guys on the show. And this was part of the vision of Beyond the Purple Door, being able to impact and educate people. Is there anything that we haven't talked about or touched on today that you guys would like to share?
Well, I'll share one little statistic about back pain, just because I think it encompasses a lot of what we've talked about. People that go have some sort of an acute back pain situation, and they go to a surgeon first, require surgery 47.5% of the time. People that have that same sort of situation and go to a chiropractor first require surgery 0.5% of the time.
0.5%.
0.5% of the time. So that is a 47% difference. And we should always, with everything, not just with chiropractic, with anything in our life regarding healthcare, you should start with the least invasive, cheapest option first, right? And then move down the spectrum into invasive, costly interventions. You know, if your stove of your house catches on fire, you don't call the fire department to hose your house from the outside with the power hoses and the foam and everything else. You start with covering it up, maybe some baking soda or whatever else, right? The reason you don't do that is because the fire department's going to destroy your house, right? And it's overreaction for the situation that you're in. And so I just like to point that out because it's such a striking difference between your healthcare, you know. And then if you get back surgery or neck surgery, the statistic is within 3 to 5 years, you're going to be required to have another surgery. So once you're on that train, it just keeps going.
It's hard to get off.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like we're going to need to do more shows with more information to really empower my viewers here at Beyond the Purple Door with making the most educated decisions about their health and wellness. Because you don't know what you don't know.
So I don't know if you want me to answer her question.
It's totally up to you. If you want to answer her question here, you're welcome to. If you want to wait and answer Lori in a private message, you're welcome to do that too. It's whatever you feel comfortable with.
So I can answer it here briefly. First, I would answer it by saying, without having examined you first, I wouldn't be comfortable saying for sure that's what you have. However, assuming that's correct, and without knowing any other information, what you're going to have to do is provide symptom relief until your body can reabsorb your disc, and that takes time. So what you want is something to symptom relief, right? So that you can then have the time to feel okay while you heal. And unfortunately, that just takes time. So the real issue is, can you suffer your current situation long enough for it to reabsorb, or is it such that you want to take some other intervention so that you can have symptom relief long enough for it to heal?
So we have a patient under care right now with a bulging disc. She was in a lot of pain, 9 out of 10 all the time. Couldn't move, couldn't sit to drive, was standing through all of our meetings. We went through a pretty intensive month with her, but after 1 month of getting adjusted frequently, she has 90% improvement.
Wow.
So yes, a chiropractor often helps. It's just like anything. Nothing's 100% for every single person every time. But I would be willing to bet that a chiropractor would be willing to help you.
Yeah, like she still has some trouble with twisting motions and things like that, but for the most part, she's not taking pain meds anymore. She can sit, she can drive,
Dance.
She can work, she can dance, and that's with nothing but frequent chiropractic care, intensive chiropractic care for a month.
Yeah, you're welcome, Lori. So Lori's in Canada, and I don't know what it looks like there with her ability to get into a care, somebody that's able to support her with care at this time.
Lori, if you message us, reach out to us at Radical Chiropractic. We know a lot of chiropractors all over the world, so we can probably help you find one.
Yeah. I will say one last thing to Lori to provide some, because Canada is a little bit different in a lot of their outlooks. So Canada, a lot of the chiropractors up there like to do a lot of other interventions alongside chiropractic, a lot of PT, exercises and other therapies and things like that. There's just a study that was just released that showed that there was a 3% difference in the amount of recovery in pure chiropractic versus chiropractic and all the other therapies. So you got to decide, if you decide to go to a chiropractor and he wants to do all of additional therapies, you're going to be there for an hour and a half. The benefit to that is a 3% essentially, which is pretty negligible, but you need to make that decision for yourself, of course.
Yeah, I know a lot of people feel like they get more benefit from spending an hour at the chiropractor and getting e-stim and massage and trigger point therapy and all those things. But truthfully, like Dr. Taylor was saying, the difference is negligible. You really just need the adjustment that costs 3 minutes of your time.
Love that. Thank you so much, you guys, for serving here with my friends. Lori is such a dear friend of mine, and I'm so grateful. I'm grateful.
She's doing it. Don't do it.
You guys are here to support people, especially with things like chronic pain. Lori, I love you so much. And I have Dr. Taylor's information, so you guys can reach out to him and ask questions. I'm also going to be going over to a Tribe of Giants and posting a thumbnail with our action steps for this week. And I will tag Dr. Taylor and Tabitha in the comments so that you guys can ask your questions to them and get them answered. And these guys are close to me, so they're in Utah. And I can't wait for their practice to be opened because I do need to get the family in. So this is how you guys can reach them. www.radicalchiro.com, team@radicalchiro.com for the email, and then the phone number. Do you guys talk to patients that are in other countries like Canada and Australia?
We know a ton of chiropractors all over the place.
Okay.
If they need a referral, we can absolutely do that.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, we're getting down to the last 5 minutes of the show. So I'd love to know what 3 action steps you guys would like to give our viewers to take on this week to impact their health and wellness.
Wherever you are, book a consultation with a neurologically based chiropractor and start getting adjusted wherever you are.
Yeah, that's definitely the first one. The second step would be, you should take a look at your current health care system, not your health care, your current health regimen for yourself. What are you doing? In order to be healthier, it's not a complete change of your life, a radical change. That's it. Everything you're eating, you're not eating it anymore. You're not exercising, now you're going 5 days a week. Like it's unsustainable and unrealistic. You need to look at your health regimen and pick a couple of things that you can make some changes for. Like, do you drink a lot of soda? Well, you know what? This week I'm going to drink just water. Nothing else is going to change. I'm just going to focus on that. And that's how you make sustainable changes, slow and steady and consistent.
That is what I do. I am a habit change coach. So I support people with slow, consistent habit change over long periods of time. So I absolutely love this one. I love them both, Tabitha. I'm not saying I don't love yours. Just the one that Dr. Taylor recommended is one that I actually specialize in motivating people. So love that. And action step number 3.
The third one I would be look at your friends and your family, especially your children, and imagine how many times a 3-year-old falls. And if you fell that many times, for example, how messed up would you be? Well, kids are the same. We sort of give kids a pass because, oh, they heal. But the truth is, the reason that adults start having these issues that take 20 years to manifest is because something happened when you were a child and your body heals and they just sort of deal with it. You should look at getting your family checked. And the sooner the better, because the sooner, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah, my little football player, you guys know, you guys have their son, Damien, plays football with my son, and Damien hits so hard. and Kellen hitting hard and getting hit hard, like definitely something that I have thought about now that I have you guys in my life, the impact that all those hits have on our little precious babies. So
there's a reason all the sports teams have chiropractors that travel with them.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I know that they have doctors, but I didn't know that they had chiropractors. So that is really valuable information. I was extremely grateful to have Dr. Taylor on our sidelines at football games, even though, it was a different dynamic kind of than what a high school team would have. But it just was the peace of mind and peace of heart knowing that such a passionate professional was there for our boys. We just got lucky with you guys coming from Texas and then living so far and being part of our team. Like, I just feel really blessed and honored to know you guys and have you to support me with getting my family and myself healthy. I need to make appointments with you guys.
Love to see you guys.
Yeah, we miss you guys so much.
Dude, we miss you too.
We can't wait for football season.
I know, right? Same. All right. Well, is there anything else you guys want to share before we jump off? We're down to like our last 2 minutes.
I don't think so. Tabitha?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to open another can.
That's okay. We're going to have to book another show. This time I will have my Radical Chiropractic mug instead of my Harley Quinn mug so that I can be branded because the work that you guys have done on your brand is absolutely phenomenal. And seeing the pictures of the space that you guys are going to be working out of, it's absolutely beautiful. I love the color schemes, just the feeling of like, it's just a very soothing, calming feeling looking at what it is that you guys are creating. So again, if you guys have questions, want to book appointments, need referrals, wherever you're at, please reach out to Tabitha and Dr. Taylor. The tools, support, accountability that you need to live your happiest, healthiest life is beyond the purple door. Open it. Love you guys.
Thank you. Bye.